All right, good afternoon, everyone. TGT Media is an entertainment industry interview show where we interview the creative people from the comic, film, TV, movie, and video game industries. And, of course, I'm your host, Kurt Sasso. We're on episode 328, and the guest I have on the show here today has been on the show in the past. A very talented comic creator and a wonderful person as well. And no, I'm
You're
not.
Made me blush on video. Thanks.
You're welcome. And she hasn't been on the show for about a year or so, so, it's time to get her back on. Welcome to the show once again, Liz Staley from, of course, Adrastus Comic. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's been a crazy weekend, but I'm glad to be back on the show. I always love being on the show. You know me.
I know. I love having you on the show. It's always a good time when you're on the show here. It's been far too long here.
It really has. The whole past year has been crazy. So,
which is why I had you back on, because it's when Smith Micro came out with Manga Studio, it was one of those softwares that rivaled Photoshop, rivaled Illustrator, rivaled the mainstream softwares that everyone knew and loved. And once they got a hold of it, they started really gravitating towards the simplicity of it, as well as the multitude of functions and everything like that. And they've been a huge supporter of the webcomic and comic community.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they really have been.
And so, for yourself, you started using Manga Studio for Adrastus, I believe. When did you start using that?
Oh, that was, about a year and a half ago I started using EX4. It was in January I started teaching myself EX4 of 2012.
And you started using the coloring system as well with it too, so.
Yep.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, the coloring. The coloring. You can't pick on me about it anymore.
I know now. I gotta
can't pick on me anymore.
The quick story about that is I always loved Liz's covers that she did of Adrastus, just the way
they're in color.
Because they're in color, yes, and her stories were all in black and white. So I think
Chapter 12 is in color.
Yes.
Because Manga Studio 5 came out, and I love coloring in Manga Studio 5. So I started doing Chapter 12 in color.
Now, we're sort of getting a roundabout way as to what the actual topic is here, but Smith Micro, I don't know how this happened, and I'll have you explain the story here.
Yeah, because it's not actually Smith Micro that asked me to write the book. It was a different publishing company, but it was just this weird, how it came about.
Well, let's say what the book is here, because we haven't even said what the title of the book is that you're writing, because you've been a huge proponent and user of Manga Studio. I'm
very verbal about it.
Yes, you're very, very verbal about it on Twitter, on the social medias. And what were you involved in recently?
I got asked back at the end of last year to beta test Manga Studio 5 for Smith Micro, which I was very, very excited about. It was like, oh no, twist my arm, please. And then in February, a publishing company contacted me and asked if I would write a Manga Studio 5 book for them. It's called Mastering Manga Studio 5, and it's all it's not a beginner's book. It's not a how-to. There's no this is a layer and this is a pencil tool and here's what you do. It's time-saving tips and tricks to streamline your process, set up the program so that it's the way that you want it to work and it works for you instead of you working for it. So that's the pitch. And so this company, emailed me, and I always kind of imagined that they were this Manga Studio 5 software is coming out. Let's see if we can get somebody to write a book. Let's Google Manga Studio. Hey, this girl talks about it a lot. Let's see if she'll write a book. And they emailed me and were like, would you like to write a book? This is kind of the idea that we have for it, and would you be willing to do it? And I was like, sure. So, and the book is going to print. The book is done. It's laid out. It's going to print. So it should be coming out soon, and it's up for pre-order on their site, and I think on Amazon. And so it was neat. It was sort of weird and out of nowhere.
Well, I mean, you've always, yourself and many other comic creators in the community, Lara Souza, Byron Wilkins, Amy Castley, a few others as well, have really gravitated towards, Manga Studio. And it's a great software. I use it myself too.
It's my favorite art software ever. Absolutely, I love it. I love it, love it. Smith Micro just needs to hire me because I sell their software like everywhere I go. I go to conventions, I talk about their software, and I get online and I talk about their software. And people on Twitter have problems with Manga Studio, and other people find them and they go, "Ask Adrastus Comics. She'll know what to do." So it's just, I love the software though. I really do.
What were you using before Manga Studio?
Before Manga Studio, I was actually using Photoshop to draw the comic. I had been using Photoshop for a very, very, very long time. And I still use Photoshop for some stuff, but Photoshop's just really not a drawing program. And yeah, you can set it up to draw, but Manga Studio just has the tools that make comic creation that much faster and simpler. And with Manga Studio 5, you can customize the whole program. So,
going from a software that many comic creators use and utilize, of Photoshop or Illustrator, what drew you to Manga Studio? I know these aren't sorry, I just have to say this. These aren't questions that Smith Mike or any other people have given me. These are just off the top of my head.
I always have to tell people they don't pay me. Like, I was just literally on my actually what really got me interested in Manga Studio was watching Larda Souza use it and the perspective rulers. Because I was like, oh man, those would make my life so much easier. And also, in EX4, just being able to go, here's my text, click a button, there's a word balloon. So I was really interested in the stuff that would make my job that much easier. And so that was what really started me wanting to learn the software.
So then with this book rather, I should say, do we see any sneak peeks of like Adrastus characters or anything like that? Did you slide any of those in?
There's a little, there's some Adrastus art in there, but it's mainly all actually new art. And the last couple chapters of the book go over doing an entire comic strip, setting up a story file project, putting in the text, write a little script, and that's just a new kind of story that I did, little comic strip. And it's not Adrastus related. I tried to kind of keep most of the Adrastus stuff out. A couple of pictures of Sarah and Michael slipped in there as examples of stuff that I had done, but it's actually mainly a lot of new art. So a lot of different stuff.
So will we see Adrastus book 1, book 2, and then Mastering Manga Studio at your convention table
I hope I'm supposed to get a couple of copies from them, and then of course I can get more copies. Just once it's out. I can't wait to actually have it in my hot little hands. Because that's always the best thing, when the project's done. And I've been working on this since February, and it's just now coming out. So it's been a long process, and it was some days it was really difficult to write, and I of course I had to put Adrastus on hold, because I had to get this done. This was an advance on the line and a contract and deadline. So I had to get this done. But now Adrastus is coming back and this is coming out. So it's going to be cool.
So with this book though, I mean, were you giving any guidelines? Did they give you carte blanche saying, hey, have fun with it and, whatever happens, happens?
So what happened was, they came to me with the idea that they wanted a tips and tricks book, and not a beginner's, here's how you install the software kind of thing. And, just going over step by step, all the... If you've never, ever, ever used any digital art software, this is not the book for you. But if you at least know what a layer and a pencil tool is and how to click buttons, you'll probably be okay. They told me the basic idea that they had for it, and they were they had the title for it, Mastering Manga Studio, and then they were like, okay, here's a template for our outlines. We need an outline with the names of the chapters and how many pages you estimate each one will be, and what the topics you're going to cover. Um, but I mean, they pretty much, other than, okay, here's a template, here's the idea we have, it was pretty much, what do you want to do? You know, what sort of, because I mean, it's all time saving tips and tricks that, you know, pretty much I use that I came up with. And this company, they do a lot of technology books, but I mean, it's mainly like C++, and so I think they weren't quite sure exactly what to do with me because this is more of an art book. Um, I actually had to contact somebody at Smith Micro to look over the outline to approve it because they weren't sure if the outline looked okay. So I was like, hang on, I got contacts. Hold on, wait, I got it. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I mean, they pretty much let me write about whatever, you know, I wanted to write about as far as giving the tips and stuff, and they just told me the idea.
What challenges did you have to face doing this? Because I mean, I was almost expecting you to say, "Hey, or Manga Studio users, what tips do you have?" And I'll throw it in your book. And
You know, I almost did that. I actually, I kind of consider myself a lazy artist, so I'm always looking for ways to make my life easier and be able to get the comic out still looking good, you know, not like stick figures, but still looking good and make my life easier because I've got other stuff to do. um, so I had enough stuff to fill a book. I knew that already. Actually the big problem that I had was convincing myself that I was the person to write this book. Because it's really hard, you know, especially me. Like, I try to be kind of humble, even when I joke that I'm awesome. And so I didn't want the book to sound like I was like, I am the queen of Manga Studio. I know how to do everything, and so it was actually really hard. It was really hard also to find my voice for the book. Because the drafts for the first two chapters, I tried to write them kind of serious, and I'm not serious. I'm not a serious type person. So I found that I had to have fun with it. So I like started slipping jokes in and just having fun. So that was the hardest point was trying to convince myself that yes, I am the person to write this book and I can do this. It's really hard when you're trying to write something to teach people, you know, trying to make people's lives easier.
I mean, at least it's not like a self-help book in terms of that.
It's that I would have been really bad with a self-help book. This was something, you know, software that I'm really very passionate about and can talk about for forever.
Yes, I remember from Webbrief as well back last year or year.
Yeah,
you know,
year before.
Yeah, year before. Yeah, but you know, you had a really good in-depth thing. You were showing us chapter 14, I think, at the time. And
no, I'm not on chapter 14 yet.
Or,
that was like chapter 8, I think.
Oh,
chapter 8? Yeah, it was chapter 8. Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
I just cleaned up the script for chapter 14. It was amazing.
Well, now that you've completed it, how many pages is this book, by the way?
Oh, geez, a whiz. I don't even know.
3 billion pages long, you know?
No. Oh, let me take a look. I think it's like 200 something, I think.
That's a good size. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's a decent size. It's 10 different chapters. Okay, according to Amazon, it is 298 pages.
What, you couldn't get 300?
Apparently not. Well, look, they did the layout, so they did all the you know, sizing of the images and everything. So the page count's really on them. I just wrote. I wrote and took screen caps and sent them in. So yeah, it's 300 pages, and I think you also I think when you order through the Packet site, which is the publisher, you get like an ebook copy too, and like tech support in case we made any mistakes. We had a bunch of beta readers for the book who provided me with a lot of really good feedback, so hopefully we caught a lot of the problems. But it was also really difficult because for most of the book I was writing with the EX5 beta version, which then of course I got, you know, all the stuff done and they were like, here's the finished version. Here's what we're putting out to the public. And then last week the book went ahead to print, and manga and Smith Micro contacted me and they're like, "Oh, here's version 5.0.3. We put the symmetry rulers back in." And I'm like, "Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. I have a whole chapter on rulers and word balloons, and the symmetry rulers are not in it." Because literally the book got uploaded to the printer that day.
Oh,
There was
jeez.
just no way of putting it in. So
That'll be the second book you put together. It's just
yeah,
on rulers and
it'll have to be in the second edition, you know. And some of the screenshots are going to be like the old beta software, so it'll be like stuff's labeled a little bit differently. But there's just not, because we wanted to get it out around when Manga Studio EX5 came out, so that there would be a Manga Studio 5 book out. So it's like, you had to work with what you had. I actually wrote the first chapter, which is about the story feature stuff, the story mode. I actually wrote it with EX4 at first because EX5 wasn't even a beta version. So I wrote it with EX4 and then had to completely change the whole chapter, like cut out half of it, and it was awful. I had to retake all the screenshots. So that was, oh man, I was like, oh my god, we're never gonna get this book done.
I'm sure your husband was very supportive and throughout
Oh
this
yeah.
entire thing. And
Yeah. He's everyone's been really excited for me. This is like my first professional project. Um, so it was really really exciting. All my friends and Byron's been really supportive and helping me not tear all of my hair out over the book. And I'll be like, "Oh, honey, I'm having trouble with this," and he'll give me suggestions. And so it's been great having him to help me. So.
yeah. Well, no, I've been excited too. As soon as I heard this, I'm like, awesome! Finally, finally she can put it into book format and not bombard my Twitter account with tons of studio stuff.
I can't help it when everybody uses me as Smith Micro tech support.
That's fine.
Just like make a million YouTube videos or something. Here's how to use it.
Put it as a Smith Micro Manga Studio 5 DVD. There you go.
Oh, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it? We should totally do that.
Sure, I'll stop down in Waynesboro and set up
Okay,
the video
put
camera and all that stuff. It'll be
that
like turning your chair. Oh, hi! I didn't see you there. I'm
thing. Welcome to my office.
part of the mess. I'm the cat. Um,
No, there's no cat. There's no pets, unfortunately.
pardon the horse.
Yes, there's a horse up a half hour away.
Or galloping down your
Or
road.
galloping down the road. I hope that wasn't my horse. It better not have been my horse.
Get back here! You haven't paid your oats.
Darn
Um,
horse thief.
Now that this is done and you're kind of decompressing from it all, you know, you said you're going to start back Adrastus. What else are you going to kind of do besides get more sleep?
Oh man. Well, I've started working on chapter 13 of Adrastus, so that should be coming back up in October. And the next thing is actually a friend of mine. Well, the Adrastus book 2 just came out. Hooray!
Yay.
Premiered at Small Press Expo. And I'm so glad it's done because I could talk for 45 minutes on the problems that had.
Sure, we have time.
It was a cluster. It certainly was. We had a bunch of file problems, a bunch of printing problems. I thought we had it all figured out. I bought my books for Small Press Expo. 5 of the book 2s had blank pages in them. One of the proofs came and half of the pages were printed blurry. It was a nightmare. All of book 2 was just a nightmare trying to get it done. So I've got a friend of mine who is a graphic design major. She graduated in graphic design school, and she's actually going to put together Adrastus book 3.
Nice.
So hopefully book 3 will be out soon. Hopefully it won't take like 2 years to put book 3 out like it did for book 2. Because book 3 is going to be chapters 9 through 12, and those are all already drawn. So, she just needs to plug them into the template for 2, and we need to change page numbers, and I need to do some more extra stuff. And I do actually have a couple of ideas for some fun, like extra Adrastus stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've got an idea for a children's story that is told to Vargo children. So the bad aliens, like their little kid bedtime story. I of course did that extra thing on like the Ankali alphabet. Um, and I have an idea actually for a little bit more world building on Earth, in the Adrastus verse, about what happens with the little threats that are not big enough for Sector 7 to take care of them. And it's a lot influenced by the show Supernatural. But there are these brothers that go around and they hunt, the radioactive hamsters from the planet near Mars that are digging up people's gardens and eating all their vegetables. So I think that I'm going to turn that into a couple of like comic shorts.
Could almost be like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series coming out.
Like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but they're not really affiliated with Sector 7. Like they just drive around and find weird stuff to go investigate.
It's like
I think their car will turn into a robot.
It's like a mini version of Adrastus there.
Yeah. It's like Supernatural if the Impala turned into a robot and Sam and Dean fought over who got to pilot it. Like that. That's kind of the premise right there.
It's like they're about to attack the radioactive hamsters, and they're like, hang on a second. Heads or tails, who drives it?
Hold on. Rock, paper, scissors. Who gets to pilot the robot this time? So I think that'll be fun. So I'm going to write some short comics about that. I also at the time was planning like the Sector 7 employee handbook to kind of flesh out Sector 7. And I've been working on the script to get some more chapters written. So it's been a lot. I'm gearing back up on Adrastus now that I'm decompressing from the Manga Studio book because there was no way I could not concentrate on both of them at once. The Manga Studio book just took all of my time. This whole year got eaten by the Manga Studio book. Just everything. Manga Studio book and my new I just had horses fall into my lap too. Like just tons of horses. Like almost literally fall into my lap. Cause I mean like you've seen all the pictures of me with the horses on Facebook. Well, I found a horse riding center 5 miles away and something I've been wanting my whole entire life was to learn how to ride horses and be able to be around horses. So I went down there and asked them if I could volunteer. And they were like, yeah, sure. And then Kennedy, one half of the duo who does Tamaran, she owns a horse. And she was like, well, Liz, I didn't really realize you were, that into horses. I have a horse and I don't have enough time to like properly exercise her. Would you like to come up here and, I'll teach you how to take care of her and you can exercise her and spend time with her. So it's like been between the Manga Studio book and then like learning how to take care of horses and volunteering down at the riding center. And I kind of own half of a horse now. And it's just like, so this year has actually been like the best year of my life because it's been like a lot of culmination of a lot of dreams kind of going about. So it's been really, really cool, but very, very stressful.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, yeah, I was going to say it's not like you hinted at liking horses or anything from chapters 1 through however many you were working on with Adrastus book 1.
Sarah has a horse, and I'm sitting right next to my fairly large My Little Pony collection. Like literally right there off screen, there's a big bookshelf, and they're just like,
quick, turn the camera.
Could probably do it. Hang on, let's see if you guys can see the My Little Pony and the Briar collection. Hang on a second, you guys will get a good view of my kitchen too. Oh, and all the Avengers stuff. Okay, so that shelf is my custom ponies. These are all custom made either by me or by other people.
Is that an Agent Coulson My Little Pony there?
This one?
I was thinking on the right there.
On the right, this guy?
Right in the front, yeah. Yeah, that one.
This is Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Nice, awesome.
There is, of course, an Adrastus pony.
Yeah,
He was
the
one of
one.
the first ones I made.
Yeah,
So there's Adrastus pony. I don't know if you can see him very well.
the other way.
Let me figure out which way I'm going. There we go.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
reverse. Yep.
And I've got my my Harry Dresden pony. If I can find him here. Here we go. His base is actually signed by Jim Butcher, who writes the Dresden books.
Awesome.
And then I've got like all of my 80s ponies, all my G1 80s ponies.
Classic.
Itself. And then like I've got the G3s and the G4s.
Wow.
And then I have a small Briar collection over here next to my printer. So like I have literally like my office is just surrounded by ponies and horses. So yeah, it's been amazing, and you can see I've got the Sarah Bryant Lord of Souza up above me there.
I remember him drawing that.
And I ran into him at Gen Con, and that was like the coolest thing. Because it was just, oh my god, I didn't know Lara was going to be, and he remembered drawing Sarah, so that was really, really cool.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome. I love his work. And,
so every time I'm on the show, we start talking about Lar.
I have a man crush on him. It's all good.
Okay.
It's the beard. It has to be.
Beard is nice.
Anyhow, moving on from.
I don't even had a tour of my office.
Is there anything that I haven't brought up that you'd like to talk about here? Because I mean, obviously, I definitely wanted to talk about the book. We got through that. You know, I'm glad to see Adrastus book 3 is coming out. Yay!
It'll be out because that'll hopefully be out sooner rather than later because I'm not laying it out. I hate the laying out the book process. I love the drawing the stuff. I love doing the cover. I love having it in my hand as a physical thing. I hate the layout process. So, gosh, I can't really think of anything. Adrastuscomic.com will start updating again in October sometime. I'm trying to get the first little section of Chapter 13 going. I'm getting a Yanova 19-inch tablet on Monday.
Nice.
So, for a review of that, that'll be cool. Hopefully I'll like that. That'll be nice. Can't really think of anything. The Manga Studio book, you know, if anybody has any questions, they can contact me. You know, just get in touch on Twitter or Facebook or Tumblr. And you can, I've got it pulled up on Amazon right now, but you can also pre-order it through Packet. The Packet site, which is PACKTPUB.com. So it's Packet Pub. And yeah, they've got it up on there too, and you can pre-order it. And we worked our butts off to make it a September title instead of an October title. I got back from SPX Monday morning, tired as anything, having to go through the pre-final files and approve them, and like had an hour to approve the cover text. And they're actually they're located in the UK. They're like 5 hours ahead of me. They're just sending me stuff in the middle of the night, and then like I wake up and I've got like an hour to approve it. I'm like, oh my god, it's 5 in the morning. Leave me alone. But it was nice, you know, and we really worked hard. Everybody worked hard to get it to be a September instead of an October book. So it'll be out sooner rather than later.
Well, it's something I'll have to definitely pick up here and maybe make the trip on down and get you to sign it.
I'm hoping to do some more conventions next year. So maybe even Gen Con, maybe. So now that I've been to Gen Con, maybe we'll go there.
I hear it's a good show.
It was so much fun. So much fun. We got the tickets from Howard Taylor, who does Schlock Mercenary.
Mm-hmm.
He was giving them away, and so he gave them to me and my husband, and we trekked on out there. It was a long drive, but it was worth every minute. But yes, I mean the book's coming out, and I was about to say something else, and now I've forgotten it. I'm really distracted by the whiteboard thing behind me above my sink because this is bright blue dot.
Now that you pointed it out, now I'm staring at it. Oh, great.
Not behind me. I really can't remember what I was going to say.
That's okay. Not a problem there. But no, as always, Liz, thanks so much for coming on the show.
What it was. When I have a couple copies of the book, I am planning on doing a giveaway. Don't have any details yet. So, keep your eyes peeled to adrastuscomic.com. I will do a book giveaway. As soon as I have books in my hands to give away, I will give one away. So yes, book giveaway. It will happen at some point.
Oh, awesome stuff. I can't wait to have that happen.
I'm really glad that everybody was excited about it, and all the beta readers were so very, very helpful with getting the rough drafts to a finished draft and pointing out things. I was like, oh, that's a good catch there.
Now, were they looking at just the spelling aspect, or did they have previous experience with Manga Studio?
The editors from Packet looked at, spelling and grammar, but there were actually some people, and they have profiles in the book, some like webcomic artists and artists and illustrators that also read it. So they had ideas for, like other little tips I could slip in and stuff that would make the book a little bit easier to read, and little changes to make to the screen caps to make them a little bit clearer. So, and they all have profiles. And these were all people that I had not met, and they're not like friends of mine that read this. So like that was pretty cool too. Like just not having to do like all of the editing on my own, but I still got a good say over it, because it was like somebody was like, we should have a tablet or have a chapter about tablets, and I'm like, no. This is not the beginner's book. I don't need to tell people about tablets. So I still had control over it. The weirdest thing, though, is not knowing if people are actually buying the book, because I published everything else. So I don't know if people are actually buying the book, if people are actually pre-ordering the book and are like kind of dying right now because I don't know how well it's doing.
Well, I think the easiest way to rectify that would be to say on Twitter, hey, here's a link for the Adrastus, for the Mastering Manga Studio book. And if you've gotten it, put them in for maybe a draw of a print or something.
Oh, hey, that's a great idea. I've got that new picture of Sarah that everybody loves. Give that away.
Yeah, I would say, similar how they do on radio contests, email me,
like a screen cap of your receipt or something, and
yeah, something like that. And that way they'll put into the draw for, say, you have 5 prints you want to give away, and they'll be signed or whatever.
I like the way you think, Kurt. There's a reason I keep you around.
And it's not for my good looks, huh?
No, you're a good-looking guy, Kurt. Come on, you break all the records. Look at him. It's been one of those weekends I have lost my mind. We didn't get home until 1 o'clock last night.
Who's blushing now, huh?
I know, right? But, that's all I can really think of.
That's good. It's good stuff. I love it.
Finally, after working on it for 7 months.
Well, Liz, thank you again so much for coming on the show. I'll definitely...
short notice.
I need the content for the thing because I have other episodes I need to do, but anyhow, that's my own my first world problems right there is finding guests. But no, I look forward to having a physical copy in my hand. I definitely know I'll be ordering it for sure. Hook up the Wacom tablet and all that stuff. And
you'll be able to do your artwork faster.
Yes, and I definitely need that since I need it either way. Awesome. Well, as always, you can of course see Liz's amazing and talented work at adrastuscomic.com. Look for Mastering Manga Studio on Amazon.com and packetspub.com. And
on the TGT site.
Yeah, I'll post the links there as well too. But some people don't actually read that section, so I have to just say it. For shame, I know it's
Fun.
And that ends this episode of TGT Media, episode 327. We have another comic person coming up this Friday. I think, yeah, Friday. I forget what it is, but he'll be on the show, and it'll be.
They are, but they'll be here.
Yeah, it's like it's on my calendar here, and if my calendar ever dies, I'm screwed. So thanks everyone for watching and listening to this. Of course, you can get this on iTunes. You search for tgtmedia.com. You can, of course, go to the tgtmedia.com website. You can get this video on YouTube, youtube.com/tgtmedia. And, look forward to many amazing and talented guests in the future. And have a great day, everyone.